Go for it.
Oh yeah, 2 pre-rolls today. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices, and the path forward isn't always clear. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP. Step into a world of nonstop action on DraftKings Casino. You can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots. Download the DraftKings Casino app now. Sign up with the promo code JRVP, and new customers get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. Only on DraftKings Casino with promo code JRVP. 2 pre-rolls in the books. We have the magical powers of Diet Mountain Dew, what to do after your divorce, and Kid Rock, all coming up in episode 216 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Do not yell dinner until your knife is in the loaf. Hey, Aaron, when you fade into the page or whatever, like the home screen of our show, did you still get Greg fighting with the cord?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean, that's fine. It's a little extra for anyone who wants to subscribe to the Anthony Jeselnik YouTube channel. Check us out there. Very steady viewership. It's not popping up, but I'm a pro. I didn't want this black cord hanging over my white shirt this whole show, so I got it out of the way. That's what pros do.
If you don't watch the YouTube, you got to see it this week to watch Greg. He looks like Ice Cube and Anaconda fighting with the cord on his headphones.
What's the knife in the loaf? I like that.
Do not yell dinner until your knife is in the loaf. I looked up Canadian sayings.
What?
And Canadian proverb apparently is not to yell dinner until your knife is in the loaf. I believe it's a don't count your chickens till they're hatched sort of thing. But I just thought it was very Canadian. One of the most Canadian of all the sayings that they had on this list.
I mean, you're Mr. Canada right now. You can fucking run for Prime Minister.
I've been all over. I've been everywhere. I got one more Canadian city left. I got Vancouver in the fall at some point. But I've been to Montreal, Halifax, famously. I am the Drake of Halifax. And then this last weekend, I went to Calgary. I went to Enoch, which apparently is just Edmonton, but it's a kind of reservation. And then I went to Winnipeg. I had a great time. Had great shows. A Calgary show was really fun. It was great, big, awesome theater. Beautiful old theater. It was weird. Calgary was weird because they were like, your show has to be 75 minutes long with you and your opener. Usually it's an hour and a half. It's like a 90-minute show. And they're like, no, because of our laws, if it's 90 minutes, if it's over 75 minutes, you have to take a 20-minute intermission. I'm like, I'm not taking a 20-minute intermission.
For whose benefit?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like for the theater, whatever the rules were, but they said they get fined $1,000 for every minute over 75 they go. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, listen, if that ever happens, I do my time. You got less Kelly Ryan. You got less opener. She did 15. I did my 55 to 60. Great show. Maybe my favorite of the weekend. Enoch the next weekend. God love the people of Enoch. I'm not going to knock any of the people there. People were great. The venue was like a giant airplane tent. Like it was fucking huge. Sound, maybe the worst sound I've ever dealt with on the tour.
How does that affect a comedian, the bad sound?
It could, because you can't hear yourself really. I'm just like, thank God the way I prepared for Halifax, being in a giant outdoor stage, really helped me in Enoch, that I was like, I'm not going to miss a beat. I'm a pro, I got this. And the people were like, yeah, we can hear, everything's fine. But on stage, it sounded so bad. But still, a great show. A ton of people, everyone had fun, and then the last show in Winnipeg was one of my favorites. I mean, I can't lose. I can't miss in a theater. You got to come and see me. The tour hasn't even officially started yet. Bones and All starts in a couple of weeks.
Wait, what are you doing then?
I've been getting ready for the tour. I did the club run of clubs.
It's kind of disrespectful to Canada that you're doing Canadian theaters and that doesn't count to the club.
It's the same movie. It's just not. I'm not on the tracks yet. You know what I mean? You get in the film. But I had a great time. I do not love traveling in Canada. I will say that. I'm excited to be back here. I'm pumped to go to Vancouver. Next year, I'll be back in Canada. For Toronto, for sure. Whatever other cities I missed, I will be at. But God damn it, guys. You got to get tickets for this tour. Still tickets available. I'm in the home stretch of 2023. You got September through middle of December. And the show is fucking awesome. I just hope things don't get spoiled. There are things in my act that I'm hoping get spoiled the day the special drops. You know what I mean? That people are talking about it then and not before. But if you got to talk about it, you get excited. I've seen some things online. I'm not going to police it. I'm not going to try to delete people's comments. But come and see the show.
But just cut that shit out. I'm going to police it. Anthony might not. But as you know, I've been seeing a personal trainer now for off and on for 3 months.
Having an affair?
And I'm going to, no, Steven's not my type. And, I will police it. I'm getting bigger. My shirts are feeling a little tighter.
You know, when you and Emeka talk about you getting a trainer, is there any kind of worry that you might have an affair? Like, you got Steven, I got to assume that just for Emeka's bet, like for her peace of mind, that Steven is not Asian.
No, he's not. He's definitely not.
So she can rest easy knowing like there's no chance of anything happening.
It's not a thing for me. I don't like being painted like that. You know, Emeka's the only Asian woman, as you know. I mean, you knew some of my college girlfriends. No Asians among them.
Yeah, Greg in college was like so anti-Asian woman that it was borderline hateful. And it was something we had to get through. And I think eventually, did he overcompensate? Of course. We all know that now. But in college, hateful. It like he'd never met one before. Like it was just, I don't know what happened. But yeah, you got over it. And now you're great. But what kind of person is Steven?
I mean, I don't know why we're talking about him. I feel like he said he had a friend that listens to the show or something, but he wasn't familiar. What kind of person is he? I don't know. He's a nice guy. He's a guy that would be a trainer. He's from California. Well, what do you want to know?
There's two kinds of guys.
He's chill.
Aaron, how many kinds of guys are there?
That are trainers?
I believe there are two.
What kind are they? There's white and other. Which one is he?
He's someone that I would guess other, but we haven't. It's like a little nebulous.
He's a mystery man.
Yeah,
I like it. I like a mystery man. People get mad. People want to play these games about identity politics. Give me mystery. Give me something I can unwrap. Give me something I can think about. You know, let me hear your last name and try to guess.
Right. I don't think I know his last name. Just know his first name. We're getting too deep into it, but yeah, he could be, quite tan, but I'm guessing some sort of mix that I'm not sure what.
You got to pepper it in with some language. You got to be like, he'll be like, all right, do 10 reps, and you go, see? And then if he's like, what? Then you know he's not.
We just talk,
Latino.
Talk football mostly. Why not? I just treat it as like another podcast. I don't talk enough. I need someone else to talk
now,
to.
when you're with your personal trainer, are you like sitting there talking, trying to put off the exercise? Because there are people with a personal trainer where they just start yapping and they I'm doing the hour, but they don't want to work that hard. Or are you like, yeah, we can talk for a second, but let's fucking go.
Somewhere in between, for sure. I mean, we're friendly. It's somewhere in between. And I know, like, he has a certain amount of stuff that he wants to get to in an hour. I basically know roughly how fast I need to go. So there's some times where I need to like slow down the pace or I'm gonna die. Mm-hmm. And then when we chat a little more, and then get back into it.
So how long have you been seeing the personal trainer? Every week?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
We did it for like a month and a half before I went to Japan, and then I guess it's been like a month and a half since.
Okay.
Or month since.
Have you ever thrown up at the gym?
No.
In your life with the trainer, or like not with the trainer, but ever in your life have you ever thrown up at the gym?
I never been to a gym before this, actually. Except for like at a hotel.
I did not expect that answer. I did not expect.
I mean, I played sports, but I never was in a gym. I know that's surprising with my. But I felt like I was gonna. The first day we got back from Japan, and I was jet lagged and I hadn't worked out in a long time. The first day I got back to the house, I thought I was gonna throw up, and I went in front of the toilet and like tried to, but I couldn't.
I threw up my first time working out after Japan. And I've thrown up a couple times with the personal trainer, like really pushing you. And I just like I wasn't healthy, making healthy choices the night before. It's crazy. You feel like almost like you accomplished something, but it's also bad. Don't do it if you can help it. Isn't that right, Aaron?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thrown up after working out,
Really?
and I've done some hard.
During working out is usually, it's like afterwards.
No, never done it.
No. Yeah.
I used to, I did cross country. I feel like we puked occasionally here and there, push on a crazy run. That's about the last time.
I would think so.
But I was in college. I was a prolific puker. You probably don't really remember because it's not like something I advertised, but it was just like part of my going out experience. Like at 1:30, kind of pull the trigger in the bathroom, and then keep going.
It's amazing that you looked at throwing up in college as losing a little bit of money, as like, oh, I spent $10 on these beers. Now that's all over my shoes. How am I gonna get this $10 back? Maybe I can get it on a picture with someone. That was like all I ever thought. It was never like, okay, time to go home.
I didn't think about that.
I did. I just thought like, oh no, I wish I hadn't spent so much money.
I just knew my body.
Was excited to have this 2-week break before the September kicks off, and it's 3 or 4 cities a weekend every weekend through December, and I'm really looking forward to all this. It's either 2 shows, tons of tickets being sold. I'm excited. I've got a whole crew. Liz is with me. I got photographs, guys, of every show. I got a tour manager coming on. I'm so fucking pumped for that. I got great openers, but I'm so excited for these 2 weeks. And all I want to do is get home. After the show in Winnipeg, I'm just excited to get home. I can sleep in a little bit, but I know this hurricane's coming. Everyone's talking about the hurricane hitting California and Los Angeles. And I'm like, there's no way I'm getting home. You just don't get to fly home in the middle of a hurricane. It does not happen. They cancel shit for that. But I'm flying from Winnipeg into Minneapolis, and I've got my assistant. I got Miss Kim looking at like hotels. If I got to spend a night or two in Minneapolis, what are we gonna do? And we actually landed at LAX like half an hour early, and it was pissing rain.
What day did you land?
Sunday.
What time?
I got in Sunday. I was supposed to get in at 6 o'clock. I got in at 5:30, and then sat on the runway until 7:30, until 6:30. And like an hour just sitting there. It was pouring rain. I couldn't believe things are flooded, but we got in I heard about the earthquake. And then I get back to my building. I'm like, I guess Hollywood might not be that bad. And like the top floor is a nightmare. All these leaks, like they've just been working on the roof. They're trying to fix everything. So many like buckets of like things dripping into it. It was pretty nuts to come home to. But I was thrilled to be back without any delay. Get to spend a couple weeks with my dog, and that's my plan. Just relax and get ready for the greatest tour of all time. Aaron, are you going to come see me?
Oh, yeah.
Greg, how many times do you think you'll come see me?
Probably one.
Because I'll do an LA show, and you guys both better be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was thinking, I wanted to do New York. That I actually was mentally planning on it. But now I got my schedule for the season of what shows I'm doing, and I saw when your show is. And there's no way to get there on a Friday, which is when your Carnegie Hall is. So now, I guess it's either San Diego or LA or both. You have a mid-December San Diego show?
My last dates of the year. I've got 4 shows in San Diego on 2 nights.
That sounds.
But then I mean, LA.
I kind of like that.
LA is going to be in January, February, March. We'll see what happens. But I'm figuring out my next year's schedule. There will be time. But guys, you got to see the show. I'm so proud. I'm having so much fun.
Wow.
Great crowds. Great everything.
Maybe Aaron and I could go together.
Oh, Canada, coming forth to carry me home. Anything else happened to you this week?
I got some emails, by the way, from because now you got me reading the emails and picking the emails. I'm taking over, your job there. Happy to do it. I know you're busy, and it was a lot of people from Halifax in Canada. I didn't choose them all, but I just wanted to give them a shout out.
Please, if I'm gonna be their Drake, then we have to have a two-way communication. Communication is a how many way street, Aaron?
2.
2.
Right.
That's right.
One was kind of wondering if the jean jacket was like a Canadian tuxedo type of joke. Why do you wear the jean jacket in Canada? We're not doing emails now, but I thought that was interesting. Another one, there's a lot of Halifaxers.
Listen, I'm going to take these questions one at a time. All the pants I have are jeans. I don't have any pants that aren't jeans. If I'm not wearing jeans, I'm either in my Tommy Johns or I'm naked, or I'm going to the gym. So when I'm on stage, I got to be wearing jeans on the bottom half. That you cannot negotiate that. Top half, I'm either going with some denim, which makes it a Canadian tuxedo, or I'm going with some leather. All right? And it was too fucking hot in August in Halifax outside to wear the leather, so I wore denim. When I was in Calgary, it was 95 degrees, and you best believe I wore leather because it was inside. So yeah, you can call it a Canadian tuxedo. I don't care. To me, it's just a tuxedo. It's just formal wear that signifies my senior prom.
Another one really wanted you to go to Prince Edward Island, saying they have the best potatoes, best lobsters, best ice cream in the world. No comedy.
I've been looking for the best potatoes in the world for my entire life. And if you say it's Prince Albert, let's fucking go.
Prince Edward Island.
Let's fucking go. Aaron, what were you saying about having a Prince Albert before the show? You did it yourself when you were in high school and you kept it?
Don't recommend.
Okay. That was...
I went to a preseason game last week, which I'm only going to bring up. You asked what I did during the week.
Rams versus...
Raiders. Okay. It was the Raiders. And sometimes I'll sit in like the club seats where I'll get some free tickets from the team or someone in the media there. This time I just bought the seats last second. And that was a mistake. They were good seats, but I was in a Raiders section. And Raiders fans do not fuck around with the preseason, even. Yeah. It was the loudest preseason game I've ever been to. My kids were there with me, and when we left, they were just like, I don't want to go to another Raiders game again. I don't like Raiders fans. I like going to games when there are Chargers fans. And they both were complaining about all the bad words that they had to hear throughout the game.
Wow.
And it's funny because I wasn't bringing it up.
Sure.
One lady apologized at one point because she had one and she noticed and apologized, but it didn't matter. There were all these other dudes that were just screaming the whole time. And they were a little shaken by, especially Ellis, by the Raiders fan experience.
Because when I was a kid, I mean, obviously grew up a Steelers fan, but seeing the Raiders fans with the Mad Max kind of look with black and white, I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, they're my second favorite team because I think that's awesome that they put on all this makeup and shit. That's great. It's funny that your kids would just be like, no. I thought maybe would they be seduced by the dark side?
No.
They're like, no, we won't.
No, they were hardcore. They were yelling. They're bothered by the swears, which is interesting because I've never put too much on swearing or anything, but they were just they were upset by it. And then one really drunk guy who was swearing a lot spilled nacho cheese, a cup of nacho cheese all over Ellis's sweatshirt. So that was bad.
That's bad. Usually at a stadium or an arena, they're quick to cut out. Like, you can yell, but if people start swearing, they're quick to shut it down.
What do you mean, swearing?
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't worried
at Dodger Stadium, at Staples Center, or what's it called now? Crypto.com Arena. Yeah. At that place, they're quick. It's like, hey, kids are around. Do not do that ish. They'll say that. This has been a great preseason for the Steelers. My brother and I thinking about which jersey we're going to get this year. I'm going to stick with my classic jerseys, but Kenny Pickett is. And listen, you're the expert. I'm not the expert, but I think we can both agree that Kenny Pickett is a lock to win MVP this year. What'd you say?
I think he's on the short list. He is. We've talked about this on the Around the NFL podcast. People should check that out too. He is the guy that got the most hype all this offseason of everyone that's seen him in person is like, he's a different guy. And usually you're a little skeptical of that, but there is something to it when he's getting the most of anyone. And then he shows up in the preseason and he's lighting shit up. So you have reason to be excited.
I'm excited. Okay, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not cocky by any way, shape, or form, but I'm excited about the season. That which is a great place to be compared to last year or the year before. I do not like how Steelers fans have turned on Najee Harris so bad. Najee Harris. This guy's done nothing but work his ass off behind the worst offensive line in football. And then one guy, the backup in a preseason game, gets a 40-yard run, and everyone's like, this is why your first-round pick's a bust. I hate that they turn on players like that. Najee's great. Najee.
They're both good.
Najee's amazing.
Warren's good. I'm sure.
Warren's great. Yeah, he can be great. But shitting on your other player because another one did well is such a crazy, weird Steelers fan thing to do. Don't do it, guys. I'm coming there in November. I'm going to a Penguins game. And if I see anyone saying anything bad about Najee
Najee Harris.
Najee?
I think.
Like Fabergé?
I think Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. If I see anyone saying anything bad about Najee, I will kick you through the scoreboard. Like at the end of Sudden Impact. No, Sudden Death. Sudden Death. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Always on the stick.
Are we going to bring up the T-shirt you're wearing? I mean, you could save that for a future show. I don't know if you think we're going.
I think
you're wearing a "Hey, it's Che Diaz" T-shirt, and it is a great shirt.
Yeah, it's "Hey, it's Che Diaz," the Netflix comedy concert tour. I don't know. I've had this for years. I got it when when Che first started. I've been watching and Just Like That with Liz. Liz is super into it. I'm on my phone the whole time, and I kind of look up when Che's on stage doing stand-up because I'm a student of the game. I want to know what's going on with Che. This week was great. This week, Che just stood up at an open mic and, in a monotone, threw her ex under the bus as hard as you possibly can with no inflection of humor or any sort of jokes. It was wonderful, and I'm excited for the finale of the season to air next week, so I never have to see it again. Liz will watch it and then listen to a podcast about it. And then come and tell me what they told her on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's bad. That's why we're watching it. I don't need to dissect how bad it is. It's dumb.
You kind of do, though, because before every show, now the whole routine is you got the security code now, right? Mm-hmm. You type in the little security code. You get here 20 minutes early, and then you and Aaron have your 15-minute discussion about and Just Like That.
It's even better than that. The streamlined process of me with the code. I get to come here. I get to try the knob to see if it opens like a normal door should, like it does half the time. When it does not, I get to pull up my phone, find Aaron in the text, because I don't know how to get to the contacts thing, click on it, click on info, go to where I wrote the code down, then put the code in, and then open the door only to have Aaron standing right behind the door, looking at me, listening to it.
Cheering for you.
You were lucky I got it on the first try, because if I hadn't, it would have been the Great Halifax Explosion Part 2. That's what would have happened. I've been listening to
Why
the
was
book
it wide open, though, when I got in 5 minutes later, then?
Because they're only trying to keep me out. Once I'm in, the respect comes in. And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
No, I don't know where I got the Che Diaz shirt from. I don't remember. I saw it online. I bought one for myself. I bought one for Liz. We do not wear them at the same time. We're not that kind of couple. We just own the same clothes. It's normal. It's very normal and romantic. As far as notes this week, I think I lost us some ads. Did I lose us a sponsor last week or the week before, Aaron?
No, they just they've been pulling out of a bunch of shows.
Because I feel like I went hard on a certain ad, and I was like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They love us. They love us. And then I looked and saw a bunch of them canceled. But that was in the works. Yeah.
I missed this.
I just saw it like yesterday when I went to go look at the ads. There's like a bunch of, and they just canceled.
I think I can figure it out.
And I was like,
now.
oh, was that me? And Aaron's saying no. Aaron's saying
no.
Aaron's saying it's an industry-wide thing.
Yeah.
That if anything, I kept the sponsor longer than they would have stayed.
For sure.
Okay. That's good.
Well, I mean, what did you go? What did you exactly say?
I remember bringing like the Pope into it and Catholicism and really going on. You never know. It just takes one person who believes in that weird shit to be working at the company who sponsors us to take it all away. That's the razor we walk on, Greg. Okay? It can be taken away at any moment. Are we living the dream right now? Yeah. But at any second, it can all be taken away.
I mean, I know from the Rosenthal and Jeselnik Vanity Project days.
JRVP days. I want to apologize. Last year, I went pretty hard on John U. Bacon, author of The Halifax Explosion. I was 9 chapters in, hadn't gotten to the explosion yet. John U. Bacon, I was unfamiliar with your game. I've gotten to the explosion. It's great. It's great. I'm getting every scratch, every death. Oh, school is gone. Tell me about it, John. John U. Bacon, everybody. I spoke too soon. I'm into it. I wonder how long I'll stay obsessed with Halifax for, because I love it. And again, I will be your Drake. Let me tell you something, Halifax. If you elect me your Drake, there will never be a second Great Halifax explosion. I guarantee. And that was. Did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
I want to get. Should I get a campaign manager?
That's what I was starting to imagine the campaign that would go on, you pressing the flesh and everything that would go into it.
Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you elect me your Drake, there will never be a second Great Halifax explosion. I guarantee. How many votes did I get?
I mean, you got to run unopposed. No one's gonna dare.
You know what? But that's when Drake shows up, when you least expect it, when the real Drake comes up. And now it's time to take it down to a place where the real Drake can't get into. It's a safe space for us. There's no corn. It's Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. Email. It's email corner.
Guys, emails are a thing. I don't care if you're from Halifax or if you're from Toronto or anywhere in between. Emails, Aaron, they're what?
They're a thing.
That's right. We ask our listeners to send us a bunch of them. I think, Greg, tell me if I'm right about this, people send some in just for the mailbag that we've got coming up.
I didn't see those.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
those...
Heidi held them. I told people, if you want something specifically for a mailbag, which we have coming up, like, here's a hypothetical I want to hear in a mailbag situation, just write mailbag in the subject. Otherwise, we'll look at it for each episode. Greg went through them this week. I was busy rocking all through Canada with my bad self. Oh, Canada, wherefore art thou, brother? Did I say it right?
That's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, you emailed us. Greg picked 3. I read them like real quick, and I don't remember. So this is all going to be news to me. Aaron, did you read these ones?
No.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Email us again, JRVP Junior Vice President @gmail.com. We're doing that mailbag episode soon, so put mailbag app in the headline. Now that you mentioned it,
next week.
We did get a few extra hypotheticals probably than we would have normally.
Doesn't matter, but if they say mailbag,
Yeah.
they don't say mailbag
I don't
in the
think they said
subject.
mailbag. I
How
don't
are we
really know.
supposed to know?
Yeah.
We're not mind readers. We're podcasters.
Well, we've got one coming up, but that's what we'll close Email Corner with. We're going to start with a question for you about improv and sketch and how they fit into your perceptions of comedy as a whole. I know you've talked about auditioning for SNL, for Weekend Update, and all, so I'd assume you don't have any negative views towards the concept, but you consider them separate entities requiring different skill sets in comedy, or rather something you would be able to comfortably do as a professional stand-up. Thanks, and that's from Rhea, pronounced like Mia. Don't fuck it up, Greg. And I appreciate that, Rhea. Getting after me is my love language, so I like that.
It is.
I just like it, yeah.
Getting after you.
I
is
just
your
like
love
I like
language.
someone, if they're gonna come at me strong, I'll respond to that. So yeah, that's Rhea in a nutshell.
Said like someone in an abusive relationship. I don't like it. I can't remember the last time I watched sketch that I enjoyed. Listen, I think you should leave. Brilliant. Key and Peele. Loved it. Usually it's not very good. I loved, Kids in the Hall back in the day. Mr. Show back in the day was formidable. But I don't like sketch. I don't want to watch it. I can't. It's the worst thing in the world to me, for the most part. Improv, I think it's a skill. I think a lot of comedians are good at improvisation. Think of something off the top of your head. I think it helps for acting. I just always wanted to put all my cards into the stand-up basket to be as good as I can at this, at the expense of being an actor or something else. And again, I don't really want to watch someone do improv. And there are amazing people. I've seen Amy Poehler do improv on the UCB stage, and you're like, holy shit! It's like watching fucking Messi come in and start playing soccer with the U.S. soccer players. He's the best person on the field as soon as he steps on, and it's obvious to everyone. It's like that shit. So, like, yeah, you can be talented and amazing. I don't like it. When I auditioned for SNL, I sat at that Weekend Update desk, and I read my jokes, and then they didn't consider me for anything else. At no point was it like, well, can you do sketch? Like, I never would have done any sketch, ever. Could I be in a sketch and be like, oh, I don't know, this Italian restaurant seems okay? Yeah, I can do that dumb shit. Do I want to? No.
Right. I mean, if you haven't seen Anthony on Garfunkel and Oates show,
I can act, but sketch is a different sort of thing. I can act. Sketch is like, I don't know why you're doing it. Why are you doing this to us? Don't do this to us.
it's tough. But I would hate to poo-poo anyone, going after an art form and trying
do your thing,
to be
like
creative.
if you,
It's cool, but there is
like,
if you've ever been, once you're in one bad sketch show live, for me it was scarring. I was afraid to go. If you're like, okay, I want to be in stand-up, you're like, I want to be in this field, I'm going to take it all on myself, it's all on my shoulders. If you are an improv or sketch, in my mind, you are saying, I want to be a comedian, but not without my friends up there with me to help me. Fuck you. Damn. All right, our next question. I don't know who it's from, but he says
if it was so funny, you would write it down and say it again.
And again.
It's not that funny.
And again.
How did you come up with such a good joke for dildo? Did someone yell dildo this improv show? How'd you guys do it? They yelled at every improv show. Everyone.
Hi there, Greg and Anthony. I was actually big fans of you both before I had any idea that you knew each other, much less were best friends. That's cool. Unfortunately, due to a looming divorce, I have an extra ticket to one of your shows in Texas coming up. I know you guys have never been divorced, but do you have any advice from what you've seen friends or family go through? Luckily, no kids involved, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do from here. Thanks. You guys rock.
I love that when Greg picks the questions, you see like a little window into his soul. Like, what's Greg thinking about? What's he got going on when it's not
No,
between the
it
whistles?
shows I have some empathy as a human. I saw this. It's nice that you're fans of us both separately. I like that. And then it's like, he's looking for help. He's in a tough spot. Let's not just do dildo jokes this week. Let's try to help this guy out.
Is that a shot at me? You think all I do is dildo jokes?
That's just what we talked about, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know you could sum me up like that. You guys like Jeselnik's comedy? What's it like? Dildo jokes? Mostly? Wall to wall? Top to bottom? Listen, I got great advice for this guy. I've got great advice because I have seen marriage, like divorces, ruin people. And I don't mean financially, whatever. Like the financial burden is bad, but people become different people.
Yeah.
They get super angry. They get super bitter. It's like you have someone who gets cheated on, and they just talk about getting cheated on for like 5 years. It's like that times a million with divorce. That it seems marriage, unless you have children, and even if you do have children, seems like nothing more than the worst financial decision you'll ever make in your life. It seems like a bad financial decision unless one of you needs either a green card or health insurance. I have a lot of friends who've gotten married for both those reasons. I think it's legit. More legit than, hey, let's put on a fucking show and have an open bar for my dumb fucking uncles. You don't need that shit. You don't need it. You can just be together and not have the courts involved. But if you get divorced, the way I have, and we have a friend who went this route, is you give them, don't think about the fight. People think about winning the divorce fight. I want to get more money. I want to get the house. I want to win this. Don't win the divorce fight. Win life after the divorce.
Yeah.
If you give them a little extra. Think about Mad Men, when she was supposed to take a couple things and she took like everything that was in the apartment and he just let her have it. Because he was like, well, you know what? If this makes you happy, I feel bad about this, take it. Give them a little more than they're asking for, and then they're going to be cool. They're going to help with family functions or whatever. But don't think about winning the fight, win the life afterwards.
That's really good. That summarizes part of what I would say. Because I've seen different types of divorce. If you're young and if you don't have kids, generally it's young. It's like maybe the financial part isn't even a conversation. We had a friend that was divorced so young. I think they just went their separate ways, and it wasn't a conversation. I think give it time. I think there's no rush to be like back in a serious relationship. I wouldn't think. I think
that's not what he's talking about. It's not how do you handle the divorce, right?
I mean, I don't know. You're right. You could have interpreted it however you want. He just said, he says, do you have any advice? Yeah, going through it. I guess I was thinking life-wise too. I was thinking more like routines. You're used to having someone there. You have a little routine with the wife. Like, try not to let yourself fall to shit. Like, eat your 3 meals. You know, exercise a little bit, get out of that. I'm just saying, don't fall into like bad habits where you would go downhill. Like, stay active and stuff.
Here's what you do. You find a woman who looks exactly like your ex-wife. You dress her up in your ex-wife's clothes and you walk around town in front of your family and friends holding hands. Make her wear sunglasses so they're confused as to who exactly it is. And it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be a process, but eventually you will get over it. But you got to find someone who looks just like her.
I love that. And I do love the first bit of advice. Our friend that you were talking about, he was very smart. He found it very motivating too, to financially to give her more, to basically give her what she wanted, and that was almost like motivation for him to make it back and then some, which is
made him grind more.
You know,
he kept his company. Gave her the cash. Smart. You bet on yourself in a divorce. You bet on yourself. Aaron, are you married?
Yes.
How long have you been married?
7 years next week.
And how old is your daughter?
Congrats.
2.5.
2.5. Okay, so you were married for a while before she let you sleep with her.
That's not quite the whole story, but yeah.
Huh. Interesting. That's not how she tells it.
That's a good move.
Do you have
That's a good move, by the way. We waited 5 years too before having a kid. 4 or 5 years.
Do you have a prenup?
No.
Are you crazy?
What does your wife do?
She's a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. You're good, Aaron. You're good.
All right. Will asks. First, he points out he saw you in Montreal, killer show. Here's the hypothetical. See, here's one hypothetical. He might have been thinking about that mailbag, but I didn't really pick up on that. You're captured by Russian soldiers behind enemy lines. They put a hood over your head. They take you to a dark room with metal walls and a damp concrete floor. They start beating you real good. Just start taking turns kicking the shit out of you. Once they're done, they close the big metal door. They lock it. They open the door once a day only, to bring you a tray of food, beat you some more. But other than that, you're all alone in that cold, dark room. You don't know if they're ever going to let you out, if there's any record of you, if anyone's coming to save you, or if you're just going to die and they're forgotten. How long do you wait to jack off?
How long do you wait to masturbate? Okay. This is a great question because, listen, if we're talking reality, probably not going to happen. All right, on these reality shows, Naked and Afraid, you know, where you're like out in the wilderness, or you're worried about survival. Sex is the furthest thing from your mind. You can't even masturbate if you wanted to. For $1 billion, you could not masturbate. If you're on Big Brother or something, you're just chilling. They just put you in solitary. You'll masturbate all day. Okay, guys, no time off. Like straight up. You finish, you don't ever finish. You just keep going. Okay, maybe you slow down a little bit just to watch. But it's going nonstop. I think it is very funny though to get locked in, to watch what happens.
Oh, okay.
You know, come on, guys, come on. Anyway, to go into the Russian prison masturbating, I think would be funny. To be walking in masturbating like when they see you. But if you're getting beaten, with sticks and they see you masturbating, they're gonna hit your penis with the sticks, for sure. They're gonna hit your hands and they're gonna hit your penis.
But isn't that, I think that's a great move, what you said, though, because it's kind of being like the first one to break. I mean, they're going to be scared as fuck as you if you're masturbating on your way in.
Yeah.
No one's ever pulled that move.
Think about you're getting beaten, and have the presence of mind to saying, this isn't blood. This is just lube. This is just lube to me. And then get beaten to death immediately. Get beaten to death first day.
Is that why you were giggling the whole time I was reading this?
Yeah, because when I saw it originally, I was just like, oh yeah, funny question, whatever. And then I started thinking about the idea of making that your identity. The guy who masturbates no matter what. You know?
Yeah, I took it too seriously. Or not seriously, but just realistically. And I just was like, well, right after they bring the food and beat you. You got, you know.
Right after they bring the food makes you horny?
No, but I mean, you know you've got the biggest gap of time at that moment until they come back. You know, I was thinking I don't want them to be there. But if they have just beaten you but then you also have the food, you're going to have as much energy as possible at that moment. I do it right away. And then there's also like a long gap, before they come back again. You have time for another time.
Do you get the energy just from seeing the food, from being in the same room as the food?
No, you eat the food.
You eat the food,
Yeah.
convert the calories into energy, and then you masturbate with those calories.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is more for you. My masturbation is more of a rebellious, like, let me show you that I might be in prison, but in my mind,
Sure.
I'm a masturbating machine.
Sure, but I think by its very nature, it's for you, That's sort of the definition.
See, Greg's always been a selfish masturbator. I'm masturbating for the world, for the greater good. But yeah, I think we've, Aaron, is anything wrong with what we said? That we're masturbating when we walk into the prison?
No, I think that's a great plan.
All right, thanks, Will. That was a good question, Will. I hadn't mentioned it.
And that was Email Corner. Shine on. Oh, Canada.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
New sponsor this week, DraftKings Casino. You can step into a world of non-stop action on DraftKings Casino. You can play classics like blackjack, roulette, and the slots. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers can get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. All you got to do is sign up. You select the offer, you make your deposit, and you start playing from a full suite of games. When you download the DraftKings app, you got to use the promo code JRVP to get that deposit match. The only way is to play on DraftKings Casino. Play online on your time, in your space, and within your means. It's safe, it's secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you're ready. Download the DraftKings Casino app now. Sign up with the promo code JRVP. New customers get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more, only at DraftKings Casino with the promo code JRVP. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling and call 888-789-777 and visit ccpg.org. 21 plus, physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opted-in new customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Max match $100 in casino credits, which require a one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions apply.
Worth it.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, Anthony's had therapy. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted therapy. I should get the therapy through BetterHelp, but I haven't done it. So I got to be real. Sometimes
what's holding you back?
We face crossroads in life. I don't know. Because BetterHelp points out it doesn't need to be a serious mental crisis for you to seek therapy. Sometimes you're faced with a crossroad in life, a decision to make, can't decide which path to make. Maybe you're feeling like your relationship needs some help. Whatever it is, therapy can help you map out your future, trust yourself to find the way forward. It's a way to learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries, empowering you to be the best version of yourself. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible,
listen.
and suited to
Let
your
me
schedule.
jump in here for a second. You don't have to be alone, okay? You can talk to someone who will go, interesting.
Stop. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. You fill out a questionnaire, you get matched
What
with
do
a
you
licensed
think about
therapist,
that?
and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP.
And that was.
Ad copy.
Let's get the headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
A Daytona Beach woman accused of killing her 79-year-old roommate. Excuse me. The woman is accused of killing her 79-year-old roommate. She also is accused of allegedly dousing her body in Diet Mountain Dew in an effort to erase the DNA evidence on her body. She actually poured the soda on herself, Anthony, after the police said they were going to try to collect her DNA.
I mean, so tell me how she killed the roommate. And why were they roommates? Was it a Craigslist situation?
That part's unclear because she's in her mid-30s. They're roommates and the dude's 79. She killed him with a knife. She was caught, ultimately, because she didn't clean the knife up. She just left it there next to the body. So while dousing yourself in Mountain Dew or Diet Mountain Dew, it's important to note diet.
It's got to be diet. Otherwise, you're a fucking idiot.
It actually works, I guess, that it kind of gets the DNA off you. I don't even know that they were trying to take prints, and it didn't matter. They had the DNA on the bloody knife. It was next to the body of the guy at the home that they shared. The details of even how they found her that night are wild. Do you want to hear the details?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because what I'm seeing right now is like she stabs the guy. Guy falls over dead. Cops burst in the room.
No.
She turns and starts pouring Mountain Dew on herself.
Not quite. So someone is in the neighborhood and notices a fire in this house. There's a fire going on in the house. They get a cop who calls the fire department. The fire department comes. The cops go inside. There's a fire in the house. There's also a dead body in the house with a knife next to it.
What was the fire from?
That isn't explained.
Okay.
Maybe she started it. Who knows? They do some digging. They find out who this guy's roommate is. Later that night, at like 3 a.m, I think it's much later, they find this woman at a Crystal's. You know Crystal's?
Yeah, Crystal Burger.
Open all night. She had no shoes at the time. She actually has blood all over her leg. So it's not looking great for this woman.
But
that's where they find her at the Crystal, and they say they're going to print her for DNA, or they're going to take some evidence. They talk to her, so her story keeps changing. And at that point, she takes the cup. She's got Diet Mountain Dew at the Crystals, starts pouring it all over her body.
I mean, it's the craziest part is she could have gotten off. She could have actually gotten away with it because she could have been able to plead insanity if she had just drank the Diet Mountain Dew. Am I right?
Hey, it's like if you gotta go there, go the full way.
Give us back our sponsors. Give us back our sponsors. We're good now. We're nice people.
I mean, it seems like you're trying to lose the sponsors.
Imagine going into a Crystal Burger at 3 a.m. and trying to find the murderer. Everyone's got blood on their legs at a Crystal Burger at 3 a.m. Everyone.
Yeah, the guy also, by the way, had blunt force trauma to the back of his head, multiple stab wounds to his torso. And yeah, like I said, she had I guess there was a hammer involved as well. Mm-hmm. That had DNA on it. And, or I think she had one with her, and she's like, oh, I often carry stuff like that. I always carry that around. And then when they said she began to procrastinate while drinking the soda when they asked to take the evidence. And then she just doused it and started kicking and pulling the officers. There was no way out at that point, but she tried.
You know, then this is misleading. She's not really trying to destroy DNA evidence. She's just kind of like acting a fool.
No, I think she was. I think she really was. I think she was. I don't know why.
But it's like let's say the cops are arresting you for drugs and you like throw it in the toilet and flush it. Like if they see you doing it, like you're just trying to kind of make their job harder, not really get away with it. If you kill someone and then you go to hide out in a Crystal Burger,
not far away, by the way.
Yeah, you're ready. You're preparing to go to jail. She was just waiting to get picked up.
I guess. I got to think maybe there's drugs involved. Certainly mental health is probably an issue here because it doesn't seem, like she's really trying to get away with it too hard. She also was in the bloody shirt, which had been largely torn off. They said she was really wearing like a portion of the shirt. So
having roommates is hard. Having roommates is hard. I wonder if there's anything you could have poured on yourself, but other than like kerosene, to get rid of DNA evidence.
I think Bleach? It works. The way it sounded, like the police actually were saying, maybe that works. I think everything else she didn't work. But the Diet Mountain Dew, it worked.
Good luck to this woman. I feel like she didn't do anything wrong and that she should be let go and given some sort of sponsorship deal with Diet Mountain Dew. Like Diet Mountain Dew couldn't hurt.
That woman, by the way, a little better looking than you would expect.
Really? Do we have a
Check
picture?
out the picture. We don't have the picture.
Show me the
It's
thing.
really. I'll
Show me
you
the
later.
thing. I want to see it, and then our people on the Patreon can see it. If you're not on the Patreon, you can't see it. But if you're on the Patreon, you can see it.
We don't have a Patreon.
Aaron, what's the Patreon?
We don't have a Patreon.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for pouring Diet Mountain Dew all over herself to hide the DNA evidence. Tell you that. But if you're at 78 and you need a roommate and she shows up, you're going to die. You're going to die by her hand.
This is
For sure.
me flipping a computer around for you to take a look is why we are.
You got to get on the Patreon, guys. Got to give us money from your bank account to us every month. And then you can see the picture.
It's like our production value off the
I want your
charts.
credit card numbers. I want the expiration date. I want the little code on the back. And then you can see the picture. All right?
If you need help, just hit the little button that explains to you what the little code is. How have you not fucking figured that out by now?
This is how I pay for things. You got to get on the Patreon. You got to do. Our sponsors are abandoning us. We need you guys to make up the slack. You got to give us your money. Give it to the Patreon.
Kid Rock is back in the news. You may remember, Anthony, how we talked about when the former rock star was in the news a few months back for shooting up a case.
Former?
That was my little dig. See?
He's still doing it.
No,
He's still getting
no,
it done.
that was my little.
You're thinking of Joe C.
I'm gonna stick it to you. Where's your big hits now, Kid Rock?
Did you look right into the camera for that? Wow. What was Kid Rock's little person's guy name?
I don't know.
Aaron.
It's Joe C.
Joe C.
Oh, that.
I said it.
Okay,
I said it
that
already.
makes sense.
If Joe C was still alive, this never would have happened with Kid Rock. This never would have happened.
He was much more understanding.
When Joe C was alive, Kid Rock was a different person. He was a totally different guy. Whatever kind of vacuum was created with Joe C's absence from Kid Rock's world, it's like when Kanye lost his mom. So, what's up with Kid Rock now?
So yeah, he was in the news. He had shot up a case of Bud Lights. Remember, while ranting some transphobic message about Dylan Mulvaney, who is an influencer, who is trans, who Bud Light had done a deal with. So he said, no more Anheuser-Busch, no more Bud Light. But here we are a few months later, and Kid Rock was pictured drinking that sweet, sweet Bud Light again.
Listen, Bud Light's a good beer. I'm not like, how mad can you be a Bud Light before you take another sip? Bud Light could kill my mom, and I would be mad. I would be mad. Would I train like Batman? Probably for a couple months. But then at some point, I want to drink that beer. When I was a drinker, I have not had a drink in almost a year and a half. When I liked Bud Light a lot. Bud Light was it's hard to replace. It's hard to find something else. I can't imagine, like he was at a concert, Kid Rock?
I think
He looked like he was at a show.
At
It was
either
like
a show or a club drinking some
Yeah,
Bud
it was like
Light,
a stadium where they hand out like the big tall boy things. Like, you're going to take that Bud Light. I don't care how much you don't like trans people in the world of advertising. You are going to drink that Bud Light. That it seems like, of course, this happened. Kid Rock is mourning Joe C.
I'm just wondering, like, if Kid Rock isn't principled, if Kid Rock doesn't stand behind values, the American way, like, who does? What can we believe in?
Why not just not shoot the cans in the first place?
I think that's...
You know, when you shoot the cans, you're committed to hating the cans. And then when they see you drinking from the can, he doesn't think for a second, like, let's cover this up. Hey, pour it in a cup for Kid Rock. You know, because he's going to be pouring a little bit out for Joe C. When you're doing that, pour the rest of it into a cup and then drink.
My favorite thing about these types of stories is it goes into real newspapers. Maybe the Independent's not a real newspaper in the UK. I don't even know. But then there'll always be the section where they just start quoting tweets. And they're like, Kid Rock, quote, Kid Rock has gone woke, a third user tweeted, as someone replied, quote, shut down the internet. It's not getting funnier than this.
Yeah. It's never getting funnier than that on the internet, for sure.
That's it.
Kid Rock has gone woke. When you drink a beer that has been seen in a picture with someone who's trans, you're woke. That's how beer works. Welcome to Wokesville. Oh, what did Kid Rock see fucking Barbie or something? He's woke now. He's woke.
Wait, you said if Bud Light killed your mom, you'd be upset for a while.
I'd be mad.
You'd train like Batman.
Train like Batman to fight Bud Light.
So wait, but how did Bud Light kill your mom?
I'm thinking it's a transportation thing. I'm thinking it's a, crossing the street. It's like in The Boys with A-Train. Bud Light was irresponsible and tried to play it off like they were fine.
Okay.
Tried to hand me some money, pay me off. I don't like it.
So it wasn't drinking Bud Light all the
No.
time. The first image actually that came to my mind when you said Bud Light killed me was actually the Bud Bowl and some of those big Bud Lights that were in the Bud Bowl that they would hand it to on the goal line.
I thought you were thinking about the Bud Knight. Remember the Bud Knight who was in a suit of armor
Oh, yeah.
and could go.
Yeah,
he could fuck you up. If he wanted to kill my mom, if all the Bud Light mascots lined up to kill my mom, I bet he'd get there first. Who do you think? Spuds McKenzie or the Bud Knight? The Bud Light Knight, Aaron.
Bud Knight.
What about the Bud Bowl? He probably had a big name. There was like a big guy on the Bud Bowl, roster.
Do you remember the Bud Bowl that was like, it was the year that that Last Boy Scout came out? And the one guy from the Bud Bowl pulled out a gun and shot a bunch of the other Bud Bowl things and then blew its own head off in the end zone. That was a great year. Kid Rock, stick to your principles, buddy. Stick to your principles and drink a different kind of beer than the one you really like. Because you got mad at them about the trans thing. That they gave her a 6-pack. You fucking weirdo. I almost roasted Kid Rock. My first roast was almost not Donald Trump. It was almost Kid Rock. And then Kid Rock bailed. He wanted to do it in Detroit. And they were like, why don't we do it in L.A.? It's way cheaper. And he was like, I'm not coming to L.A. to get teased. And we're like, what are you talking about, Kid Rock? Nobody wants to see this. We'll get Trump in there. Kid Rock could have been president. And I tell you, if it had been Kid Rock, it would have been wall-to-wall jokes about Joe C. and his death.
Last headline.
We have a new winner in the competition to be UK's most prolific modern serial killer.
Aaron, get your finger ready. Get your finger ready and put it on the button. It's coming up fast.
Okay.
It's Nurse Lucy Letby, who was found guilty of murdering 7 babies on a neonatal unit by deliberately injecting them with air, force-feeding others milk, and poisoning 2 of the infants with insulin. She also allegedly tried to kill 6 others.
Is she Canadian?
No, she's British.
British. Oh, if she was Canadian, she would have gotten away with it, I want to say. Nurse Lucy Letby is, I don't even fuck around. I don't even pretend I'm giving it to someone else. Nurse Lucy Letby is the JRVP Listener of the Week.
I'll tell you right now, the JRVP Listener of the Week. Now, the JRVP Listener of the Week. The JRVP Listener of the Week.
Listen, she's got it all. She's a babe. She's got blonde hair. Babe. Babesville.
We have her pictures. I guess now's the time to look at it.
She's looking good. She looks like Elizabeth Wurtzel. No, not Elizabeth Wurtzel. We got her behind us. Who was the Theranos chick? Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes.
We have another picture.
She's got a little bit of Elizabeth
too,
Holmes to her. She's like a little sweet. It's like, oh, I don't have time to put on makeup. I'm too busy killing babies. And how did she kill the babies?
I just told you. I didn't even realize that. Do we have another picture of her, or am I wrong?
No,
Aaron?
not of her.
Okay.
The babies?
No.
Oh.
I just said it,
Elizabeth
which
Holmes?
I had a hard time reading. I didn't want to read too much about this. Apparently, this has been one of the big stories in the UK, but I hadn't heard about it until you sent it to me. She injected some of the babies with air. She force-fed others milk. She poisoned 2 of them, and she tried to kill a bunch more, I think, using similar methods.
So she was just getting started. She was early on in her criminal career. If she had really gotten going, if she had gotten her shoulder pads facing downhill and just really started running, then we're looking at something here. This was kids having fun, little harmless, little prank at work. Everyone at work blows off steam in different ways. Why are we piling on her? What I like about this story is that when they announced that she was going to jail, that she got really upset. She was like,
yeah,
how could they? That like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, that's right. I killed all these babies. I should go to jail. Let's go to jail right now.
Yeah, her mother was there and sobbed loudly and was heard to say, "This can't be right. You can't be serious." And they fought it hard. The trial lasted 10 months. It was like the longest, or one of the longest murder trials, I guess, in the country's history. Her defense team had argued that the deaths and the collapses were the result of serial failures in care, and the system wanted to apportion blame when it failed. So they were saying somehow they were all just incompetent in the unit, and she wasn't trying to kill them all.
She's taking the blame.
Pretty clearly was trying to kill them all.
I liked when I read a little bit where one of the doctors above her was like, why are these, like, there's more babies are dying than usual.
Right.
You're going to have some runoff with the babies. But he's like, there's more than usual. Let's see who is the common denominator.
It was something like 3 per year, maybe in the whole country or something like that in a certain, or maybe in the hospital. And it was like, yeah, suddenly they had a bunch and it was all in one hospital.
But then the doctor's like, you know what? Watch her. I think it's Nurse Lucy. Watch her. And then years later, they like finally catch her. The idea that you would know, and then just be like, yeah, but like, what are we gonna do? Get a new nurse? We got to let her do it. We got to let her do it until she gives us enough here, and we can really look into it.
Well, the thing where the families are understandably so upset is there was like a long time between when they first suspected the nurse of doing some misdeeds and bringing the police involved.
Yeah.
There was a whole, I don't know if it was months long, like a while where she continued to harm babies, where they were trying to figure it out on their own instead of getting the police involved. Because when you get the police involved, they can do some
it's cancel
digging.
Culture. It's cancel culture.
No, they can do some digging. And now I do remember the other thing that we have, Aaron. Let's put that up there. It's actually a note that they found in Lucy's apartment, which is pretty much all I need. Because she just says, I'm an awful person. I'm evil. Hate. I am evil. I did this. I think it was maybe to her brother, or her brother found it at her house, something like that. But at that point, it's like, why even have a 10-month trial? What are we doing? I am evil. I did this.
Do you know, every post-it note in my house looks like this. When I got to remember something, it looks like that. Just hate with a little circle around it.
I don't desire to live. I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough.
It's funny how she has to start writing smaller because she's running out of post-it note. Get a bigger piece of paper, you dumb bitch. Kill people your own age. Lucy, let be. And enjoy your JRVP Listener of the Week. It's only lasting for 2 weeks because we're taking next week off. So Lucy, let be. God is smiling down on you. And now it's time for Recommendation Station.
I'm going to recommend a book this week. It's a short story collection called After Parties by Anthony Viazno. Did you recommend this last year, or am I crazy?
It's possible.
You don't even remember?
I don't.
Really?
I swear.
I wish I had brought it in because it's a beautiful cover. It's like one of my favorite covers in years, and that's partly why I bought it, and it lived up to the cover. And unfortunately, it's written by this writer who passed away before it came out. He had signed the book deal, a 2-book deal. He's a Cambodian American, and a lot of the book is kind of about growing up Cambodian in California and that culture and
I did
young kid. It's really good. It's short stories. I think you would like it. It's a lot about drinking, drugs, like young people thing. It's definitely like a first collection from a writer who had a ton of talent, had some really like beautiful ones about his parents, but also had a lot of ones about just being young and getting fucked up, but doing it in a different way than kind of a unique voice. Like I said, Khmer? I don't even know how to pronounce it. I should know. Khmer Rouge is how you say it, so I guess.
Khmer Rouge?
Yeah.
Khmer Rouge?
Well, that's not, but Khmer is just the way you say it. But growing up Cambodian, and it gets into it. It's great where like I wanted more from each story. It's about 9 stories. It goes quickly. After Parties by Anthony Viasno. So I'm usually not into short stories, but I don't recommend all for Anthony. Some are just for the listeners, but this one I would recommend for you. I think you'd like it.
I will check it out. I just read a short story collection which I did not like. I did not like it at all, and so it'll be a while till I read another one. But I know
I always struggle picking up a short story collection, and this one you can put it down. I read like 5 of them. I put it down, read a novel, and then banged out the other 4.
Maybe we'll check it out. My recommendation this week is Night Train by Martin Amis. Martin Amis died in the past year, maybe 6 months. Great author. One of the hardest. I always say the funniest book I've ever read was Ant Kind by Charlie Kaufman. The hardest I've ever laughed at a book was Money by Martin Amis. Had an incredible rape joke that made me laugh really hard. But I was reading about him after he died and how great he was, and I picked up one of his later novels called Night Train. That's kind of like his version of a noir. The mystery they're trying to solve is why this perfect woman who seemed like she had it all and was so happy would kill herself. They can't believe it, and they investigate, and it's really well written. I really enjoyed the pulp noir of it all, and Martin Amis, of course, was a great writer. Night Train by Martin Amis. It's a quick read. Read it in a day or two. I'm going to be reading more of his work, and I will recommend it as I like it. But check out Night Train by Martin Amis. And that was
Choo-choo.
Recommendation Station, unless Aaron has something he wants to recommend. Nope. Great. You got something for me, Greg?
No, I just feel like an asshole because I said Khmer Rouge, which was just like the group of people, who committed that atrocity. But Khmer is, explains the everyone.
Do you have a different way to end the show today?
I do.
Okay.
Walker, take me out.
Whoa, Nelly Potato, that's a spicy meatball.